Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most critical questions of the coming year, how the Russian-Ukraine war could unfold in 2026. The battlefield is shifting, alliances are evolving, and both sides are preparing for a decisive phase. In this video, we'll break down 7 possible scenarios that experts believe could shape the conflict's future. These aren't predictions. They're informed possibilities based on current trends, military capabilities, and political pressures. Let's get into it. As the war continues grinding forward, one potential outcome is a prolonged stalemate. Both Russia and Ukraine are entrenched, with neither able to make sweeping advances. Front lines freeze, artillery duels intensify, and both sides focus on defensive fortification rather than offensive breakthroughs. In this scenario, 2026 becomes a year defined by exhaustion. Ukraine relies heavily on Western aid, while Russia leans on its vast manpower reserves and defensive strategy. Civilians pay the highest price as frontline cities remain caught in the middle. It's not the most dramatic outcome, but it's the one many analysts consider the most likely if current momentum holds. Another scenario is a major Ukrainian breakthrough. If Ukraine receives sustained Western military support, especially long-range missiles, advanced drones, and air defense systems, it could regain the battlefield initiative. Strikes targeting Russian logistics hubs, command centers, and supply routes would weaken Russia's ability to sustain its forces. A focused offensive could push Russian troops out of key areas, potentially liberating more territory captured in earlier stages of the war. This scenario also depends heavily on Ukraine's ability to maintain troop rotations and overcome ammunition shortages, but if successful, it would shift the balance of power dramatically and put Moscow under renewed internal pressure. A third possibility is a renewed Russian offensive. Despite high casualties, Russia continues mobilization efforts and invests heavily in drone warfare, missiles, and armored production. By early 2026, Russia could launch a large-scale push aiming to overwhelm Ukrainian defenses along multiple directions. This offensive might focus on capturing strategic cities, cutting supply lines, or forcing Ukraine into negotiation from a position of weakness. However, Russia would need massive logistical coordination and the ability to withstand Ukrainian counterstrikes. If Moscow believes time is on its side, it may choose a high-risk, high-reward strategy to achieve a decisive victory. Another way the war could unfold is through escalation beyond the current battlefield. This includes expanded cyber attacks, strikes deeper into Russian territory, or Russia intensifying attacks on Ukraine's infrastructure. Ukraine could also increase drone strikes on refineries, bases, or logistical hubs inside Russia. Both sides are already pushing boundaries, but 2026 might bring operations previously considered too risky. This scenario may not change front lines dramatically, but it would increase global tensions and widen the conflict's reach. It could also draw NATO closer to direct involvement if miscalculations occur near alliance borders. There's also the possibility of internal political shifts affecting Russia's next moves. Economic strain, casualties, and dissatisfaction could pressure the Kremlin. While not guaranteed, instability inside Russia could influence battlefield decisions or limit Moscow's ability to sustain major offensives. Ukraine would try to exploit any cracks within the Russian political system, while Western nations could increase targeted sanctions. This scenario doesn't require dramatic collapse, just enough internal strain to slow Russia's war machine. If political challenges grow, 2026 could become a turning point that weakens Russia's strategic position. Another potential path is a negotiated settlement. Although distant right now, War fatigue on both sides might push leaders to at least consider talks. A ceasefire could emerge if both militaries become too stretched to maintain offensive operations. Any agreement would likely involve territorial compromises, long-term security guarantees, demilitarized zones, or international monitoring. However, deep distrust makes this scenario challenging. Ukraine insists on full sovereignty and restoration of its borders, while Russia aims to keep control over occupied regions. Even if talks begin, they could take months or years to produce meaningful results. Finally, there's the scenario everyone hopes to avoid: accidental or intentional escalation involving NATO. This could happen through misfires, cross-border strikes, or attacks on alliance assets. While unlikely, the risk rises as the war becomes more unpredictable. NATO continues strengthening its eastern flank, and Russia regularly warns against Western involvement. A single miscalculation could trigger a wider confrontation that reshapes global security and drags multiple nations into conflict. It's a frightening possibility, but one analysts say cannot be ignored. As we look toward 2026, the future of the Russia-Ukraine war remains uncertain. Each of these scenarios is shaped by military readiness, economic resilience, political stability, and international support. The war has already transformed the global security landscape, and its next phase could be even more consequential. Whether the conflict drags on, escalates, or moves toward resolution, the decisions made in the coming year will define the trajectory of Europe and influence the balance of power for decades. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis. Stay informed, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next video.